everyone, welcome to Bleeding Blue Shirts, episode 2, post-game 1, pre-game 2 of what has already become an epic. John Giannone alongside Dave Maloney, who happens to be in an appropriate place if you're a Rangers fan after what happened in game 1 on Tuesday night. Davey, maybe the hardest question you could field. How do you summarize what happened over those near 106 minutes, and how might it impact what happens on Thursday?
Well, hey, listen, I think there was a question about the Rangers' inexperience, and I do think that was a factor in the hockey game. But the younger guys got an awful lot of experience in game 1, so you take that as good news. And I just think, again, when you really look at it, although the Rangers had a dominant regular season record, there weren't that many points separating these two teams. And they're that close. And I think when you look at the middle matchups in the outside of the wild card and the top teams, those middle matchups probably set up to be the closest series. And that was certainly very, very evident last night against a Pittsburgh team that still has the heart of a champion, no question. But it's game 1. Get back on the horse for game 2. Take your chance once again.
3:10 remaining in the third period. Kako goes hard to the net. A collision with the goaltender, Casey DeSmith, and then Filipino puts the puck in the net for what the Rangers thought would be a potential game-winning goal. They called it a goal on the ice. They overturned it on replay. I know right away on the radio you kind of suspected it would get overturned. What was your take on the play, Davey?
Well, no question. My first inclination after it went in was to look at the Pittsburgh bench. And right away, I saw the coaches look down at the monitor. Then I saw the officials coming together, the two referees, and thought, okay, this is going to review. And again, in fairness, the review process is subjective, right? And it's taken out of the hands basically of the officials because it's a bang-bang play. But there was one camera angle down to the right of the Pittsburgh net, that low ice shot, that to me clearly showed that Kako did make the first original contact with the goaltender. Now again, Dumoulin finished the job. There's no question. Dumoulin finished the job. But if you read the rule, it's the first point of contact. He was in the crease, and as such. Now, when the decision was made, and just kind of an editorial comment, to me, I get that they're protecting the goaltender, and we've had this discussion ad nauseum, right? But Kako he's driving the net to make a hockey play. Right? He's making a hockey play, and he has really nowhere else to go. But at the end of the day, it's like the NFL. They will probably err on the side of protecting the goaltender, and they did. So from that vantage point, and I was actually glad to hear that Gerard Gallant had the same impression. It was right away, when you see it all, when you take off the tribal sunglasses and get down and look at it, and it was the call that was made, and I agreed with the call.
Yeah. Davey, 151 shots on goal, 245 shot attempts, 79 saves for Igor Shesterkin, the second most ever in any hockey game. How might all of that, or any of that, impact either Shesterkin or the members of both teams who played 106 minutes in game 1? How's that going to have an impact on Thursday?
Well, again, it's going to have an impact. I don't know that we'll see the heightened emotion out of the gate. It'll probably be a game that will develop over time, which of course every game does. Now to the Rangers, it was to their detriment last night how it developed, but that first initial burst, it'll be a little difficult to find. Now, I think Letang finished with above 40 minutes, 40 some odd minutes.
46, I think, more than any other player, yeah.
Yeah, and Keandre Miller, I believe, I haven't seen the final sheet, or I don't remember, he was up there in minutes. There's quite a bit of different age. So over the course of the series, you don't really know. So for game 2, and now it also, and the building was electric. It was absolutely, they've done a trip. This team has been fun to watch, and the Garden has done a great job entertaining the crowd beyond the game. And so the building was electric. But I'll tell you, there were a lot of, into the third overtime, I was like, oh my goodness, is this thing ever going to end? And it's a little bit like a shootout. A home team should never lose at home in a shootout because it takes the absolute buzz out of the building. And but that being said, so I do think it will have an impact from that kind of just that initial emotion. Now you're into a dogfight. And I think the crowd will expect the same thing. It'll be very interesting to see how they come out in game 2. But I suspect this team has always never looked back, which I find very admirable. It starts from the coaching staff. You take your lumps, you learn from your lumps, you move on, you get another chance.
Last question, Davey. After the game on Tuesday, Gerard Gallant did reference the fact that there are so many players, 8 in all in game 1, who had never played a playoff game in an atmosphere like that before. He kind of made an ignorance is bliss sort of reference in terms of it impacting them mentally for game 2. You've played in long overtime, double overtime games in the playoffs. You think that's a factor that these guys, if this was their first foray, maybe they won't be as impacted by everything as maybe a veteran might be?
Well, I think so. I thought Heedle's line was as strong in the second and third overtime as they were all game long. I thought Schneider was good. Keandre was good. And, again, knowledge can be a good thing and it can be dangerous also. You talk about that blissful entry into what you really don't know what you're getting yourself into. And now you got a taste of it. So I just suspect it's a good room. Again, I think Panarin can be better. I think Mika can be better. So your top players, you look at Pittsburgh, that 1-0 loss to open the season series, it was their top players that made the difference. You look at the 3 wins from the Rangers, top players made the difference up front offensively. I thought Crosby was the best player on the ice. Gensel was dangerous, top players. So from a kid standpoint, I thought they were good. As a matter of fact, the longer the game went on, I thought they probably warranted a little more rotation because they were the one line that was playing with a little more pace over the course of the game. So these are all things that'll get analyzed to death probably as this thing runs along. So I wouldn't turn away. I certainly wouldn't give up hope. There's a lot of stuff that could be happening in this series.
Do me a favor, grab that Italian red over your left shoulder and bring it for game 2 on Thursday, and I'll see you in the building. Thanks for joining us, Davey boy.
That's great, John. It's great to do this again. And Ranger fans, it's just one game. Hang in there.
Absolutely. We'll see you after game 2.
All right, buddy.